July the 13th. And, again, we continue to trend the right way, but we've lost 5 additional West Virginians since our last briefing on Thursday. And I really always say to you the same thing, but please, keep all these folks in your prayers. It doesn't really matter, to their families or them, from the standpoint of things are trending better. Things are not trending well in these households right now. And so if you'll remember them and reach out to them if you know them, that would really be appreciated. Our 2,905th death is a 57-year-old male from Monroe County. Our 2,906th death is an 83-year-old female from Kanawha County. Our 2,907th death is a 74-year-old male from Raleigh County. Our 2,908th death, an 82-year-old female from Berkeley County. And our 2,909th death is an 88-year-old female from Berkeley County. 2,909 great West Virginians that we've lost. You'll hear me throughout this briefing and through all of our briefings that will tell you over and over, I totally respect our rights and our liberties and everything that goes with it. But at the same time, I'll urge you beyond belief because I believe it. I believe it way beyond Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever it may be. Absolutely, I believe it with all my soul that if you'll be vaccinated, you'll not only save lives, but you absolutely will be so pleased with the ease, the effectiveness, and I wish to goodness that we could some way, somehow take away all these unbelievable, what I call taboos, that are just beliefs in something that doesn't make any sense. I mean, just think about this. In the last few days, I had one of my meals with 5 people, and there was a big discussion. Many of them, had not been vaccinated. And of those that had not been vaccinated, and these were very intelligent, people that weren't kids. I mean, these were 75-year-olds to 40-year-olds. And in all of that, all of them together believed, or thought that there was a strong suspicion that there was something in the vaccine that would enable our federal government to track us. It's just, bless everyone's hearts and beliefs. We're all walking around with a cell phone right now. I mean, our federal government can not only know where we're at, they can listen to us all the time. To come up with an idea that there is a chip or something like that in the vaccine, and it will go into our body, and they'll know where we're at, and everything else. I mean, it's just a stretch beyond what I can believe. So, nevertheless, please keep these folks in your prayers. Please consider being vaccinated. We're going to agree to disagree and move forward. The numbers, we have 60 new positive cases in West Virginia. Our daily positivity rate is at 2.37. Our cumulative rate continues to fall. It's at 4.97. We have active cases in the state of West Virginia for the first time since July the 8th of 2020. The first time in over a year we have active cases in the state of West Virginia under 1,000 cases. We have 971, and I believe on Friday, with our briefing on Thursday, was the first day we really officially went under 1,000 folks, that are active cases. We have over 160,000 that have recovered. We have 80 people in the hospitals and 39 in the ICU units. Now our map is changing a little bit. We have a gold county now, which is a little bit higher elevation than the yellow counties, and we have 5 yellow counties. I remind everybody over and over and over that if you have any symptoms at all, or just some anxiety about, that it could possibly be that you have COVID, go get tested. Go get tested so we can get you the antibodies and we can stomp this thing out. And the other thing I would tell you is just this while I'm on this vaccine deal, is if all of us were fair and all of us were honest with each other, would we not say that the more that we have vaccinated, the less will die? That's all there is to it. The more we have vaccinated, anybody is going to say less people will die. So if you're out there and you haven't been vaccinated and you can contribute to helping less people die, we surely want you to consider it and think really hard about it. The vaccine eligibility is 12 and above. The second shot is extremely important. The vaccine effectiveness is unbelievably good. Young people are, a slow point for us, and we need to have help from the parents and grandparents to get our young people across the finish line. And all of the information on COVID is up on our info line, and and you can go get that easy. Now, a thing that is absolutely a concern again, and it's moving across our nation. It's not moving across West Virginia in a rapid pace right now, but all of our medical community believes it will, and that's this Delta variant. In some places in our nation, I think in Missouri, I saw a little special. I won't call it the end of it, so don't hold me to this. But at the hospitals, they were scrambling around, trying to find additional respirators. It sounds awfully familiar to the horror story that we went through and saw all over the place. This Delta variant we know is more contagious and more deadly, and we know that the vaccines are absolutely great at protecting us against this variant. Now, so I would tell you again, we're continuing to watch and do everything as far as our health people in West Virginia in watching, this situation, but like it or not like it, but it's coming to West Virginia. It's coming to West Virginia in a bigger way than it is today. I hope and pray that it doesn't come to West Virginia that just absolutely runs across our state like wild, but the odds are it will. We are the 3rd oldest state, and we are absolutely, we have an abundance of chronic illnesses. Absolutely, this thing's going to come to West Virginia. We have 17 cases in West Virginia now. It's gradually going up, but it could really take off. Now, I got to say one last thing, and it's just this. In just a minute, you'll hear astounding numbers. The number of the percentage of the folks that are 65 and older and 50 and older, absolutely, it's unbelievable how well we have done in getting those people vaccinated. And they're the people that are the most vulnerable. We know that. But now just think about this just a second. Everybody knows this thing is a chain. That's all there is to it. And if we had 3, we had here, here, and here. And this person, let's say this person right here was unvaccinated and had COVID. And this person over here is unvaccinated. But this person in the middle is vaccinated. It's got to move from here to here to here. This person, by this person right here being vaccinated, is protected today. That's the way this works. And so in all of that, if you're a kid, you know, and you could be this person and be vaccinated, you could protect this person. So all this is a chain. And if we break the chain, we absolutely save lives. It's just as simple as that. And so we have got to continue to push more and more and more folks to get vaccinated. Tomorrow we'll go back out on the road again. We'll absolutely be giving away some incredible prizes. Baby Dog will go with us. I don't know where we're going right yet and everything, but nevertheless, we'll go and we'll be giving away all the weekend getaways at our parks and all this stuff and everything. What I'll go do is give away a couple big trucks and $1 million to somebody in the state of West Virginia. It's unbelievable. There's 349,000 that are in the drawing. Your chances of winning in this are off the chart. And all you got to do is get vaccinated. That's all you got to do and register. Absolutely, your chances of winning in this are really pretty dadgum good. So in all that, we'll make somebody wealthy tomorrow, and we'll give a couple of great big trucks away along with lots of other stuff. But in that, it is for one purpose and one purpose alone, and that is to continue to try to get more and more and more vaccinated. Because the more we have vaccinated, no question whatsoever, the less will die. And that is absolutely the bottom line to the whole thing. Now, with all that, let me give you some amazing numbers real quick. In the state of West Virginia today, people that are 65 years of age and older, we have 88.7% of them with their first shot. And I have all the confidence in the world that all of them will be getting their second shot. 88.7%. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. The older folks have really responded. From the standpoint of our 50-year-olds, we're at 81.4% of our 50-year-olds. It is unflat believable. Now listen to this number. We're now above 65% of all those 12 and older. We're at 66.8% right now of all the population that are 12 and older. Now remember that number we were trying so hard to get to. We were really trying hard to get there by our state's birthday, June the 20th. But in all of that and everything, we didn't quite get there, but we were getting rid of the mask on June the 20th, and I felt like we were in good enough shape to be able to do that. Now, we're at 66.8% of all the folks in West Virginia that are 12 and older that have received their first shot. So absolutely, as we go forward, West Virginia, you're doing really good. Just keep at it, keep at it. We're going to now target, we're going to change it again. We're going to now target 90% of our people that are age 65 and older, and we're going to target 85% of our 50-year-olds and older. That's great work. Lots and lots of people putting in these licks. Now, as far as getting tested, the free testing map, as far as thanking Frith and Walgreens, we thank you over and over and over, and take advantage, please do. We have 4 outbreaks in our long-term care facilities, 3 outbreaks in our churches, in our church community. That's in Cabell, McDowell, and Webster counties. We have 1 inmate and 1 staff case in the state of West Virginia in corrections. It's great work. I encourage you about giving blood and plasma and everything. It is so important to us, and you've done a good job on that. Just keep it up. We've lost a wonderful mayor in the town of Martinsburg. On Thursday, the city of Martinsburg's mayor, Harriet Johnson, passed away. Mayor Johnson was extremely proud of being elected as the first female mayor in this city's 243-year history. It's a big loss, someone who changed history, made history. Absolutely. So To Mayor Johnson and all of her loved ones and family and everything, Kathy and I send out prayers and love and our thoughts, and absolutely we want you to know we're right with you, and we thank you for all your service to an absolute outstanding community, a community that's on the move like nobody's business and everything. We again thank you for your service and your work, and may God be with you and all your family. She'll really, really be missed. Just another a couple of quick announcements. The point of our ambassadors. Our ambassadors will be selected to serve a one-year term based on a set of evaluation criteria, such as the years of experience in the food service industry, demonstration of leadership within their local community, innovation and culinary experience in the workplace, and support of West Virginia agriculture. So it is, I encourage you to nominate your favorite West Virginia chef, and it's a great honor and everything, and it's a great promotion from the standpoint of what we're doing in tourism and economic development, and our commerce department is so all good stuff. Now, Mark Curtis has got a video for us, and I want to give Mark, kudos again, an incredible shout out to him. And this weekend he spent time on his statewide news show to share stories from West Virginians that had survived COVID. And one of those is with us today. He's a reporter. His name is Aaron Noon, and who also works at WOWK, or her rather. I'm sorry. It's Aaron. Will be with us, and she'll tell her story, and it's a very impactful story, and I hope that all of you will watch and listen, because it's a great video. Thank you, Mark.
Welcome back this weekend on Inside West Virginia Politics. We're going to switch gears for the next two segments and talk about COVID-19. Right now, I want to introduce a reporter here at WOWK-TV here in Charleston, Aaron Noon with 13 News. Good to have you. And of course, you're familiar to our statewide audience, appearing on the stories on West Virginia tonight. And you've been on this program before. What a lot of people don't know about Aaron Noon is you survived COVID-19. You contracted it and were hospitalized pretty severe. You were in the intensive care unit. Talk about it.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy, because it was about 2 weeks before I was going to be eligible to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. I was super excited about it, and then all of a sudden I started feeling symptomatic: headache, cough. The cough was probably my worst symptom, to be honest. And then that night, I got tested and it came back positive, so of course I was pretty shooken up, just trying to stay calm and everything. And then I ended up starting to vomit. Like all throughout the night, just couldn't stop. So I went to the ER, drove myself. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning, because I knew something was wrong. And they said that because of COVID-19, my body had gone into diabetic ketoacidosis, because I'm a type 1 diabetic. So they said that probably never would have happened if I never contracted COVID-19. So I ended up spending 2 days in the ICU and battling it. It was a really rough time. Really took a toll on my body.
How did you deal with it emotionally and mentally? Did you think that you might die?
Honestly, I was in such a fog and didn't even really know what was going on, and I didn't have any of my family or friends. No, I was in the ICU, so nobody could visit me. I had very minimal contact with my nurses. They had the IVs and everything out in the hallway, and just would only come and see me really when they needed. So yeah, emotionally it also took a toll on me, and I don't necessarily thought that I was going to die, but my doctors did tell me it was a possibility. So it was really scary.
You are 24 years old. You're about to turn 25 later this month. What do you say to other people your age? In his briefing this week, Governor Justice really hammered young people. I mean, he was very critical, saying the young people are dragging their feet. The people 12 through 35 are not getting vaccinated. Now your age group is more susceptible to anyone, to the Delta variant, the UK variant. What do you say to people out there, your age range, that still have not gotten vaccinated?
I'd say it's a no-brainer at this point. You need to go out and get that vaccine. I mean, it really will save your life. I mean, literally 2 weeks before I was supposed to get mine, and I got COVID-19, and we don't even know what the end problems are going to be with if you've had COVID-19. I mean, I still get muscle aches and have flashbacks of just how traumatizing the whole experience was. So if you have any doubt in your mind, I mean, this could really take a toll on your health, on the people around you as well. I mean, it's a really scary thing. So I'm saying, if you have any kind of hesitancy, just go out and get that vaccine. I actually had to wait. So because I was in the ICU, they had given me a COVID-19 antibody treatment. So because I got that, then I couldn't get the vaccine for another 90 days. So, I mean, it's a long process to recover from it. And just, if you're hesitant at all, just my advice, go out and get it. It's painless. It's life-saving.
We want to help folks get some information. We're going to put a website up on the screen, dhhr.wv.gov. That has everything. You go on there. It's the Department of Health and the Human Resources website. They have links to everything, places to get free testing, where you can get free vaccines. You can go to Walgreens, Fruit Pharmacy, get the vaccine. You can call the county health department where you live, and they can get you a vaccine.
I walked right into the Canal Charleston Health Department. I said, "Can I get a vaccine?" They were like, "Yep." And that's how simple it was for me. So you could probably go into anywhere and just say, "Hey, I'm looking to get my COVID-19 vaccine," and they will help you.
Yeah, most family practice physicians now have the doses in their office. I mean, it's easy to get. And was it painful? Did you have any side effects from the vaccine?
I mean, just your typical little, like, chills for a little bit, and then of course the sore arm.
Yeah.
But other than that, no.
That's all I had, was the little sore arm at the injection
COVID arm,
site.
I think they call it now.
All right, listen, you're helping people. We want to thank Aaron Noon, a 13 News reporter at WOWK-TV in Charleston, part of the Next Star Nation here in West Virginia. And really a great young lady. We're glad you made it through COVID-19 and you're back at work here full time. And
I love it.
All right, get out and cover the news.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, Mark, for having me.
You're welcome.
Well, Aaron, first and foremost, thanks for telling your story, and Mark, thanks for doing that segment and everything, and thanks for everybody, all that you do all the time, and I'll never forget, all the work you did on the St. Albans Clinic, and just being out there in front and trying to help us. So I think you're in your own way, you're saving lives just like all that we're trying to do as well. So anyway. That's all I've got right now, and thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Governor. Let's now go to Dr. Clay Marsh, our coronavirus czar.
Good morning, and as the governor has very nicely said, this is a time for all of us to pay a lot of attention to what is coming. The Delta variant, which is the variant that initially started in India, is making its way around the country. As we talked about last press brief, this now is the most common form of COVID-19 in the United States. In the United Kingdom, where the United Kingdom variant started, the Delta variant was able to outcompete that variant and now causes virtually 100% of new cases. The Delta variant is very much more infectious. It can be spread much easier because of genetic changes in the spike protein, which is the part of the virus that binds to us and gains entry into our bodies. And as the governor said, in the state of Missouri, which is the state that has had the deepest problem with the Delta variant, they are now seeing a relatively rapid increase in hospitalizations and ICU admissions. And the majority of their people are now between 20 and 40 years old. So this is a different virus. And as we look at the people that are affected, it really is the people, or are the people, that have not been vaccinated. One vaccine dose is not sufficient to protect people to the level that that we all want people protected, and that's one dose of either the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine. You need both doses, and we need to have people 14 days after that second dose. When we look in West Virginia, we recently looked at how many people that have been totally vaccinated, fully vaccinated, and are 14 days after their last vaccine, how many people have gotten reinfected? And we found it's only 0.1% of people that have been fully vaccinated. So we know this is incredibly effective. We know that the vaccines are really effective against the Delta variant as well, but it is important and really critical, as we heard just now on our TV segment, that that not being vaccinated puts you at a lot of risk, and with this new variant, even more risk. As we look forward for school starting, the Centers for Disease Control just released their recommendations for school, and we will go over that as we talk with Superintendent Birch and Deputy Superintendent Blatt and other folks in the education domain. But it is important to recognize that for children 12 and over, we highly recommend those children being fully vaccinated as well, because this particular form of COVID-19 can infect children, as we talked about last press brief. We also know that in places around the world that don't have sufficient vaccines, like the South American countries and like the continent of Africa, we are seeing a rapid increase in the number of cases. And to that end, in the United States, we have had our first week in the last several weeks of having over an average of over 20,000 cases per day in the US. And yesterday we had 32,000 cases. In West Virginia, although we're still doing well, we're seeing very subtle increases in hospitalizations and ICU admissions. So we know that the Delta variant, the COVID-19, is still circulating and growing in West Virginia and growing in our unvaccinated population. In South America, there's a new variant that has come up, particularly in the country of Peru, which is the Lambda variant, which is just another form of COVID-19 where we've had changes in the ability of COVID-19 to infect. And so as we look at the rest of the world, the United States and West Virginia is really dependent not only on trying to get all of our vaccine eligible citizens, residents choose vaccination, but also we have an absolute interest in the rest of the world, because until we all get vaccinated, the risk of new variants comes up. And anytime the virus infects somebody who doesn't have that immunity from being fully vaccinated, that virus can change. As it replicates, it makes genetic changes, and new variants are likely to continue to come up. So it is really that time, West Virginia, to show our mettle, to show our leadership, to shine brightly, to protect ourselves, protect each other, because the Delta variant is a different form of COVID-19, and it is one that causes a lot more problems we've seen before. So it's really important that we all get vaccinated and protect ourselves so we protect each other to prevent a surge in West Virginia. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Marsh. Retired Major General Jim Hoyer, Secretary Bill Crouch, and Dr. Ayn Amjad are all joining us today and are available for questions. We'll now go to questions from members of the media. The first today from Mark Curtis with Nexstar Media.
All right, I'm going to break the rules here. Sorry, and ask two questions because we do have some breaking news I want to get reaction to. First of all, I understand the numbers are good and trending in the right direction on most metrics here, but I looked at hospitalizations. They went from 52 to 80 since the last briefing. ICU visits 17 to 39, ventilators 6 to 10. Why are we seeing a spike in these numbers when the other numbers are trending downward, especially since the COVID variant has stayed flatlined at 17 for about a week now? And my second question is this, and I apologize for asking too, but we've just learned that Dr. Rahul Gupta, the former West Virginia public health officer, the job that Ayn Amjad has now, and the former Kanawha Charleston health director that Sherry Young occupies now, Dr. Gupta is going to be nominated by President Biden this afternoon to be the director of the National National Drug Control Policy Office at the White House, better known as the Drug Czar. And I'm wondering if we can get some reaction from the doctors on the significance of that, particularly having a West Virginian at the top rung now dealing with not only the opioid crisis, but COVID-19 as well.
Mark, you kind of scooped me here because I was holding that because I think it is a great announcement and everything, and I have it all right here and everything. But it is great news that President Biden is going to nominate as our chief drug czar all across our country a West Virginian, Dr. Gupta. A man that did incredible work here on opioids and all the different stuff that he's done here and everything, and to have him plugged into that position, can only make things better and better and better for the state of West Virginia, whether it be opioids or any kind of drug addiction or absolutely all the pandemic stuff and everything in regard to COVID and everything. It is a great, great day for West Virginia in his nomination, I guess, to be. And I'm sure President Biden will follow through with all that. And no, we're really happy about that because that's great stuff and everything. So, and to go back to the first question as far as the hospitalizations, Dr. Marsh probably is 1,000 times better than I, and you can get input from them on Dr. Gupta as well. But I was holding that. You kind of jumped me right there. But nevertheless, it's a great day. A great day for West Virginia if we can bring Dr. Gupta to the front of our entire nation because it will help West Virginia. But Dr. Marsh, if you could do the first part of the question, please.
Sure. Well, thank you, Governor. Thank you, Mark, for those two questions. I think when it comes to hospitalizations, ICU admissions, and as you mentioned, a small increase in ventilator use, this is still significantly less than we had been seeing. But I think it does underscore the reality that we are still in, which is we have still a number of people that are highly susceptible to serious disease being unvaccinated or partially vaccinated. And as we go forward in West Virginia, those people are at high risk of becoming infected, not only with the Delta variant, but with the Alpha variant, the United Kingdom variant, which is by far the most prevalent form of COVID-19 that we see so far in West Virginia. We are constantly resequencing, looking for what variants are causing problems. And we know the Delta variant will absolutely grow in West Virginia, and eventually it will almost certainly take over from the Alpha or the United Kingdom variant as the most common form of COVID-19 in West Virginia. And remember, the UK variant, the Alpha variant that is now our dominant variant, is about 50% more likely to infect than the original form of COVID-19, and is about 2.6 times more likely to cause people to be hospitalized from a study in Scotland. And as we start to look at that R value, the R value of the base virus that we saw from Wuhan, China was about 2.5. One person infects about 2.5 new people. The Alpha variant, the United Kingdom variant, one person infects 4 to 5 new people. And the Delta variant, one person infects 5 to 8 new people. So we're seeing the ramifications, I believe, of having a part of our population that still has not been fully vaccinated. And we anticipate that that will continue as long as we do have that part of the population not fully vaccinated. To comment on your second question, as the governor said, we are absolutely overjoyed that Dr. Gupta is being nominated for this really important position. He has lived and led here in West Virginia that has been an epicenter for this challenge. And we know that the experience that he brings to that position and the expertise will not only benefit the United States, but having a friend and states person from West Virginia in that position will certainly help us, and as we continue to try to also improve the substance use disorder issue that we have in our state.
All right, thank you, Mark. Next, we'll go to Kenny Bass with WCHS and Fox 11.
Hi, thanks for taking the question. It's nice to be back on the briefing after a couple of weeks off. probably for Dr. Marsh. Dr. Marsh, you've mentioned it, the governor mentioned it today, the coming tidal wave of the Delta variant. More than likely, we'll be seeing its impact here like we did the UK variant. On when we start to see more of an uptick on those cases, whether it be days or weeks or months away. Thank you.
Dr. Marsh.
Thank you, Governor, and welcome back, Kenny. You know, anytime we make predictions with this pandemic, with this virus, we're often wrong. But when you look at what's going on in Missouri, and depending on what study you look at, between 70% now and 96% of new cases in Missouri are from the Delta variant. And there's 4 or 5 other states in the country, including Arkansas and Louisiana, that are starting to see big upticks in the Delta variant. So I would anticipate that even though our numbers aren't moving as quickly on the sequencing, the Delta variant is still spreading slowly in West Virginia. And because of that RT value, the number of people who are infected by a single infected person, then we know that there is actually a logarithmic set of growths for this. Remember, on June 16th in our country, 10% of the cases of COVID-19 were documented to be caused by the Delta variant. And by July 3rd in our country, 51.7% of the cases of COVID-19 were caused by the Delta variant. So there is a very rapid logarithmic growth curve for these numbers. So I would anticipate in the next, week to few weeks, we will see the Delta variant start to become much more dominant in West Virginia, and maybe even sooner than that.
All right, thank you, Kenny. Next to Brad McElhenney with West Virginia Metro News.
Hi, Governor. Hi, everybody. Governor, a bit of a switch to a civics and organizational question. You've had a switch in your senior advisor. For those of us who don't know, what does a senior advisor do, and why does the governor's office need one? Thank you.
Well, to tell you the truth, Brad, Bray's a really close friend, and he did a great job. I hope he's not going to just go off and get lost and everything, but he does have some business things that he's working on. I just recently made the recommendation to put him on the Board of Governors at WVU, and we surely don't, want to avoid any type of conflict there. And from the standpoint of, Bray's contribution, it was invaluable, and I hope from time to time, in fact, as often as he'd like, I surely hope Bray will surely come back and talk about matters that won't have anything to do with WVU or anything like that. But it is, from the standpoint of, Roman and what Roman will be doing here, Roman Stauffer, and what he'll be doing is Roman will be, liaisons, with our federal partners and with monies that will be coming out of D.C. and he'll be working on a lot of different aspects and a lot of different things and everything. But Roman's got a lot of experience, and Roman and I worked really well together, and I've got a lot of confidence in Roman as well. But I think from the standpoint of that advisor position, Brad, to be more, right to the point, I think, just from the standpoint of a constant communication line, a confidence with one another and everything, and from the standpoint of me trying to surround myself with people that have good ideas and are smart people and everything, and can come up with a creative idea on something that we may miss. So we again, a million thanks to Bray. We don't want him to run off and just get gone and everything, because a valuable guy, but he's got a lot of, he's put in a lot of licks, and he's got a lot of opportunities in front of him in the business world, and he's wanting to do some of that too. So a lot of respect and everything, and a lot lot of thanks, for all of his work, and anxious to get Roman in the saddle and doing great work around here as well.
All right, thank you, Brad. Next is Steve Adams with Ogden Newspapers.
Yeah, Steve Adams here. Brad sort of asked my question. I was going to ask you to comment on Bray leaving and Roman coming in. I'm going to go to my fallback question. Then I think it's been reported about how the selection of names in the vaccine incentive drawing is being done. But I was kind of wondering if somebody could elaborate a little bit more on the process of how you are doing these kind of surprise presentations of the trucks and of the money and that sort of thing, because some people have brought up the fact that that type of information obviously has not been presented as far as the registration process on these vaccine registrations. So obviously that means you all are probably doing some extra work to try to, I guess, find out where people work and find family connections or whatever to be able to do these in a surprise way. So I was kind of wondering if somebody could elaborate on that a little bit more. Thank you.
Well, Stephen, I think that I don't know of any people that have brought this up other than Phil Kabler, and really and truly, and I think that information comes directly from my chief of staff and his staff. But so I think the accuracy of some people is inaccurate from the standpoint of Kabler's stuff, and all the winners, and I have no clue who they are, and everything. They're all done through the lottery, and really and truly, if you want to go down there and watch them draw them and everything, that'd be fine, But and I don't really know exactly how that all works, but I do think Kabler had even been there and watched them and everything, and then just writes one of his patented vile deals. But we've got some stuff that we'd like to report and everything. We don't have it quite all put together about just different people and everything, but we're going to do that real soon. But Stephen, you got to know from my standpoint, I don't want to know who's won until the lottery picks them, and then once they pick them and everything, what we've done is we've just found out where they are and everything, and then just kind of caught them a little off guard. Over the lady that won $1 million over in Princeton. Once we knew who she was and everything, it just worked out that she worked at one of Bill Cole's dealerships, and so I called Bill and told Bill, and Bill surely kept it secret and everything. And lo and behold, when we got over there, we really surprised her, and Bill put on an incredible show. Had a cake and a bunch of stuff that surely was at his expense. But the odds of these people winning are pretty daggum good, and I don't know why in the world we can't get more and more and more folks that are registered and more folks that are vaccinated. But from the standpoint of all above board and us in this office having nothing whatsoever to do with the selection of those people, I mean, that's just about as silly in my book as believing that this vaccine's got some kind of tracer in it and they're going to know where you are when you're carrying a cell phone around, and the government has every ability to be able to know where you are at all times. So the lottery has an independent auditor, and I'm sure they're doing it all above board.
All right, thanks, Steve. Next to Charles Young with WV News.
Hi, this is Charles Young with WV News. I was wondering if the state is keeping track of the folks who have only received their first vaccine shot and have not, for whatever reason, returned for a second. And so I was wondering if we have an idea of the number of those folks, and then is there any particular effort being made to reach out to those folks and persuade them to return for the second shot? Thank you.
General Hoyer, we haven't heard from you, sir. I think it's you.
Yes, sir, Governor. Thank you. But Charles, we run particularly in the age 50 to above group, about on average 10% of the people who have had their first vaccine are still in process of getting their second vaccine, and that has stayed pretty steady. So as the governor pointed out, the good news is our trend line shows that West Virginia has a very good success rate of the second vaccines. As far as individuals by name, we do not at this point track those, but we are looking at various options to be able to do some things such as text messages or things of that nature to individuals going forward to make sure we stay at those steady states on our second dose. And we do see a slightly slower uptake of second dose rates for those in those younger age categories, particularly 18 to 29. But on an overall basis, right now, West Virginia has a pretty good follow-on uptake of second doses. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Charles. Next to Mark Cram with WDVM.
Well, good morning or almost good afternoon to you, Governor, and certainly your panel that you've assembled here worked very well on saving lives. I wanted to kind of shift gears a little bit and talk about something else that your administration has done or is doing to save lives, and that is thank you for the additional patrols along Interstate 81 in Berkeley County. It's been noticed by local residents. They've reached out to me and commented on this. They also feel it's a good first step. What additional things can be done? One of the points was made was that many of these accidents occur in the construction zones. Is there a way that construction companies can be incentivized to complete construction sooner so that it's not delayed and that the zones are cleaned up more quickly with that construction? And are there additional things that can be done to make Interstate 81 a more safe place in West Virginia? Thank you so much.
Well, Mark, good to see you. And you know, when Senate President Blair came to me and said we've got a real situation up there. We had a couple of good Samaritans got killed up there, and you know, in trying to do great work, we surely responded. We responded as best we possibly in every way we know. We've got to make it more restrictive that if people are speeding through those work zones in excess of 55 miles an hour, we need to get them. That's all there is to it, and we need to stop that because but at the same time, Mark, too, you know, as far as incentives to do work faster and whatever like that, I'm sure that those are built into the contracts, you know, with our Department of Highways and everything. So, but I'm not familiar with all that. But if we need, you know, remember I'm the guy that said if we need to add 3, triple the triple, you know. So if we need more troopers to be able to accomplish and to keep things as safe as we possibly can, and these great people that are out there working, I mean, for crying out loud, you know exactly what's going on. You got people that are going by them, even at 55 miles an hour, it seems like they're flying, but people going by, you know, workers within 2 or 3 feet of them that are out there trying to do their job and trying to get home for their family every night. We got to really be super careful and try to ensure that those folks do get home and get home to their families safely.
All right, thanks, Mark. Next to Paul Mullen with WCBC.
Good afternoon, Governor. Good afternoon, panel. Governor, in the midst of the pandemic, there was a big announcement and a big push for broadband in West Virginia, and there was a big allocation of money to get that rolling in a pretty direct order. How is that going now? Have you gotten any updates on that? How is that rollout going across West Virginia? Thank you.
Paul, you know, all the indications on our side, and I think, you know, Secretary Carmichael could answer that question a whole lot more intelligently than I can, but all indications are, you know, that we're full steam ahead in regard to broadband. There's going to be more rollouts and more dedications to try to do more and more and more across our state, but we've got literally hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of millions that are out there right now, and we're going to be adding more on top of that and everything, and we're making real live headway on broadband in the state of West Virginia.
All right, thank you. Paul, next to Kelsey Soto with WSAZ.
Good afternoon, Governor. Kelsey Soto with WSAZ. I know over the weekend you came out with a statement regarding the incident with Delegate Jeffries last week, but this is kind of our first chance to hear and speak to you about it. Have you heard or spoken with Delegate Jeffries? Is this kind of a black mark on the party? You know, realistically and reasonably, what would you like to see happen and go from here?
Well, Kelsey, I don't know about saying it's a black mark on the party, you know, because this doesn't matter to me, Republican, Democrat, whatever it may be. I mean, it's just, I mean, this man doesn't need to be in this office. I mean, for crying out loud, you know, this man was walking in the Senate chambers or through the, you know, where the Senate was meeting on a really important matter and screaming vulgarities at the top of his lungs right in the very Capitol where I'm sitting right now. And then this last issue, which just goes off the chart, you know, in regard to women and absolutely really and truly. I mean, this man needs to resign, and absolutely the Speaker of the House has asked for his resignation. Anybody, you know, would do the same. You know, I have not had a conversation with him, nor do I want to have a conversation with him. I mean, why in the world do I want to talk to this man that conducts himself in that manner? I mean, this man doesn't need to be in the House of Delegates. That's all there is to it.
All right, thank you, Kelsey. Governor, I'll turn it back to you.
Well, I don't think I've got anything else. We've covered a lot of stuff. We're making a lot of headway. You know, I thank Mark Curtis. I thank Aaron and everything, Aaron Noon, and, you know, for telling her story. I encourage over and over all West Virginians to go get vaccinated. It's just as simple as just one thing. All West Virginians would absolutely be in favor of being a contributor to saving lives. All of us would. There's no question in my mind, period, about that. Well, just think about it. I've said it a million times. But the more people that are vaccinated, the lesser are going to die. And if you're a West Virginian and you want to absolutely help West Virginians across the board, not only your family and yourself, but West Virginians across the board, here's a way that you can really step up. You can be part of the solution to absolutely see that less of them will die. Now, and we all know that if by chance we were all vaccinated, to make my point even a little more ridiculous, but to make it, if we were all vaccinated, nobody would die. And so absolutely, I encourage beyond belief, and I thank, you know, Mark, I thank Aaron, I thank all those that are on my staff and all those that are out there, whether they be our coaches or whatever it may be. You know, I really thank the broadcasters, but, you know, I think of one commercial with, you know, Coach Huggins in it. Coach Huggins is a tough guy. That's all there is to it. If you don't believe it, you ought to go by one of his practices. You'll see a dog tough guy, you know, and what's he doing? He's out there saying, get vaccinated. I got vaccinated, get vaccinated. So we're going to keep at it. We got great numbers. We got great numbers. And we just keep on getting better. The bottom line of the numbers is one thing. And if all you got to do is go back, first in the nation on all the nursing home stuff, first in the nation on all the vaccine rollout. Think about how we're doing with almost 90% of our 65-year-olds and almost 85% of our 50-year-olds vaccinated. Absolutely. West Virginia, nobody, you have absolutely nothing to be anything except super proud of. Keep it up. Keep helping me and everything. We're going to get there. Absolutely, we're going to beat this thing. We're going to beat it together. But you've done it, West Virginia. Really proud of you. Thank you.